Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to our broadcast. FYI family, a good morning to each and every one of you. We hope that you guys are good and well. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. Happy to have all of you here, wherever you're joining us from. This Thursday, folks, is 16th day, 15th, we sorry. One day ahead. 15th day of May, right there. Halfway mark. Good morning, folks. How y'all are doing? Good to have all of you on the live today. Do we have Naomi with us today? Do we? Are we fortunate? She goes and comes like the wind these days. Naomi, good morning to the Nelsons. Margaret and Rio, good morning to the Nelsons. Good morning to you guys. Good morning, Forbes and Sudhari, Sukchan, Sudhari. Good morning, Sharon Griffith, Belinda, Delia, Gloria. Some nice names, man. Shucks, y'all gotta be nice people. Good morning, folks. Sabrina, Sandra, all the us this morning. All the us. Tessa. Good morning, Renella. Renella, good morning. Guys, I hope you all are doing well, you know. Everybody stress y'all out. Don't send them, you know. Mandy Cummins. Kwesi Calendar. I call it thing right. Gardner, Kwesi Gardner, yeah. Kwesi Gardner. You see, we even got the Chinese among us. Right. Jeanette Wong. Jeanette, good morning. Jeanette, good morning. Folks, I probably tell you all this a million times, but I never get tired of telling it. On my grandmother's side, you know, we got Chinese. That's the Chong. Cheong. My great-grandfather. You know, the folks from Hong Kong. Great-grandfather. I told you the story many times. Grandmother was a hot girl. You know the whole thing now. You know the whole thing. You know. Avril, good morning. Altia, good morning to all of you. Kira Trim. You know, I long to hear somebody call me in the morning. Call my name. You know. I got up this morning a bit early. Right? My son was in the room with me, so my wife came to the door and said, "Love." So I get up. I said, "What?" She said, "No, it was Zayna talking to me." I long for somebody to call my name in the morning. So let me call some. Do unto others, Mandy, Robin, Avril, Edward. Good morning, guys. Good morning. Anybody besides me call your name this morning? The lady come and stood at the door. She said, "Love." So I got up now because I said, "Look, something happening here. What don't happen in a year is happening in a day." Lady said, "Probably it's not you, it's the little one I got in." Nia, anybody call your name this morning, Nia? Belinda, Brenda, the things we endure. I went out of my way for Mother's Day. The lady says, "Now you're calling this little one." He knew nothing, you know. He just eating all the food, getting all the benefits. You know, he knew nothing. He says, "It's not you." Y'all remember this term, or do you know this term, sentize? For the folks, if you got a spouse who's a foreigner, a spouse. You know, some people got a spouse, some people got a spouse. Who's a foreigner? I gotta explain that. Said that. That's how I feel. I was melting from embarrassment. Is that you? I jump up because it's today's day. What don't happen in the years? And today, I started singing a hymn in my head. Come bless me now, my Savior. I shoot up. It's no. Irks. No, Irks. Breaks up. Right. Maxine, anybody call your name for the day, girl? Let me call. Maxine Lover. Let me call some name. Rochelle, Colleen, Mandy, Trevon, Deborah. Good morning, folks. Happy to be. This is my best time in the day. Best time. By the time you get to the end of the day, Simone Gentle, anybody call your name? For the day. This is my best time. By the time you get to the end of the day, the politics lash shallow over your head, you're grouchy, you think, you don't want to talk to nobody, Catch me now. Catch me now. Marlon, anybody call your name for the day, girl? Jolly, Irwin Don Cook. Mark Alman. Listen to me. If you don't make yourself happy in this life, Leon Adams, you know what I'm talking about. Annalisa, rock and come in. You don't make yourself happy in this life. As your father look story here now. When the lady dismissed me, it's not you. I said, Lord, whatever sin I commit in this life. Whatever sin. That 80s rock song? I just want somebody to love me. I was there this morning. Spend the night, Neon, Sandra, Mandy. Forbes. Good to see you, Forbes. Good to see you. Yeah. Neon and everybody else, happy to have you all. It's Thursday, folks. Got the corner shop show later on. We're in another tense period in our nation's history. No doubt the people think if you just stay quiet and got your tail between your feet, the danger can just pass. They're taking things for granted. You see that meeting with Putin and Maduro in Russia recently? A lot of things were said. Back channels. A lot of things were said. Back channels. Back channels. Journey with Margaret. Forbes. Forbes says victory is nigh. We cannot take anything lightly. How would you describe Maduro temperamentally? Another school of enunciation. Temperamentally, how do you describe him? You can be quiet and think with a neighbor like that. Beverly Sumner, come on now. Andrew Griffith, Don Dougie. You can be comfortable, rest peaceful, mercurial. I little Modi. But geez, this fella bordering on schizophrenia here now. This mental health week, I think it is, if not month. This guy, the elevator meeting the top floor. He can wake up and do anything any day. Where Anderson? Bipolar. You can rest easy. You spouse or your spouse on the bed next to you. Bipolar. How you gonna rest? Right? How you gonna rest? No. Please and thank you. So these are serious times, folks. Very, very serious time, and we ought to take the threat very, very serious. Notice we bought a plane recently, etc. Peace talks. Everybody wants peace. In Europe, not the Middle East alone. Peace in Europe. Now you're hearing them saying that, okay, we can have peace, but Russia giving back none of the lands that it occupied. I thought international law says you no longer can take land by force. I thought it was international dicta. But alas, different strokes for different folks. The folks who set the rules don't always want to obey the rules. Enter Russia. So these talks that are happening currently, they're going to be, I think they're happening in Turkey, if I remember correctly. Zelensky, president of Ukraine, said he wasn't going to attend unless Putin was going to be there. He ain't going to talk to no low-level neophyte. President to president, let's meet and talk. Well, that's not going to happen. So the talks are going ahead, you see. So it's the first face-to-face talks between the two sides since 2022. You know, countless lives have been lost. And that's the crux of war. You know, you all ever read that Wilfred Owen's poem? You know, first time I heard that poem, I was at a place called Upscale. I don't know if you all remember Upscale, a Poetry United Upscale. And I heard, I would say, veteran broadcaster, Juanita Uburn. Juanita is a fantastic person. Fantastic person. Bright and articulate. Beautiful woman, you know. I heard her recite that Wilfred Owen's poem. They call them war poems because of the era in which they were written. You know, Dulceat decorum est for patria mori. Do not say, you know, it is sweet and fitting to die for one's country. Some of you, I think I born yesterday, you know. Some of you, I think I tried. Do not say it is sweet and fitting. And then the poet goes into describing the ravages of war. So we can't just commit young people to war, you know, because you got some title. You know, a good book I read many years ago, eons ago. Look, I miss my youth, you know, for more reasons than one. You know, I was a teenager, couldn't afford the books. I was a teen. How I can come home to me, I want a book every day. Come, let me go down somewhere and buy the books. You know, Agrassi or the other one. You remember they had bestseller? Anybody remember where the store bestseller? And this is from the 70s. I'll give you that much. It's more recent than the 70s. Bestseller. Where it used to be. All right, tell me, mother, let me go along to Austin's and buy a book every day. That might mean between tennis roll in the morning or some roti and going hungry. So I used to go to the National Library and read. Thankful for places like National Library. Colin Powell, My American Journey. Reading through that book as a teenager, Colin Powell talks about committing a soldier to battle. If you're going to spend a life of a soldier on the front line, it got to be for something meaningful. You know. No doubt the Iraq war will be one of the blemishes and his own legacy being part of that. My American Journey, I miss the days of my youth, just going in the library and just reading poetry, reading plays, you know. After I heard we need to recite that poem, I gone in the library, hunting through. Internet wasn't so pervasive, you know, and invasive. Gone by the library, Wilfred Owens, reading through Tennessee Williams play. You know, I discovered Eugene O'Neill in the National Library. Fantastic American playwright, Eugene O'Neill. I miss my youth, man. I miss it. I miss it for that. Right? I told y'all, no, because, you know, age and everything else. By the time I started reading a couple of pages, my eyes started, you know, getting watery and so on, and you start feeling tired. So I have now migrated to the audiobooks. And I love it too. I love it too. In the car, you read a couple chapters, you listen and so on. They make it better for us. You can listen to an article on different websites using the audio features on your phone. Not just Facebook. Every time you're minding people business like that. Mind people business in meaningful ways. Right? I'm making sense. Adele and Jacqueline and Lorna, Tommy. I miss those days of youth. Just reading. I was telling a colleague just recently, I got to pick up back. I mean, I picked it back a little bit since I made that commitment. But I got to pick it back. Not just academic reading. You see? Not just academic reading, but just reading for the pleasure of reading. You couldn't afford the Times as easy as you get the Times now. I remember going in the library and going through all them Times magazine, reading through. That's still one of my favorite magazine. Just reading through that international publication, the Times. I thank the National Library for a lot of things. I thank the National Library for a lot of things, With that being said, folks, this thing here, going ahead without the two top leaders, let's see where it goes. There's a lot happening in the world today. It's a lot, right? And while that's happening, Poland has an election, and the shadow of Russia is looming large over this Polish election. Right? Looming larger than life over this election. It says security concerns dominate the Poland presidential election amidst this war in Ukraine. All them on the same corridor there. People there are thinking about regional instability. Folks, if you understand world events, and I don't pretend to be any buff, I don't pretend to be any buff, but if you do a little light reading, you'll understand what it is, how Hitler started, just like that. One country, in Europe, and then another little territory here, another little territory there, and so on. And then next thing you know, World War I, World War II, and we skin. That's how it started. So the Poles, the Polish, they have reason to be worried. We just talked about an unstable man who's our neighbor. They know who they got to deal with. They know precisely who they have to deal with there too. And so they're being extremely cautious. Extremely cautious. Extremely cautious. I don't envy them, and I'm certain they don't envy us. And you see, while the US distracted with all kinds of machinations, the whole economic map, I think, of the world is being redrawn. Of course, I ain't gonna pretend to be no buff. I ain't gonna leave that to folks like Jarita and so, who study the thing. Study the thing at the undergraduate level, at the master's level. But when you look and you see what's going on, people who are feeling ostracized by all of this trade war and so on, they're finding different poles now of interest. Enter China in Latin America. This concerns us. This is happening in our region. We have such a beautiful and perfect country that we on the Latin American corridor on one side, and then we got the Caribbean on the other side. That's why we part of the Caribbean. Landlocked country. And then we're Latin America all at the same time. Guyana is so blessed. We've just been cursed with bad leadership. Blessed as a mineral-rich country. Beautiful people. Beautiful people. A peace-loving people. A humble people. That's why the two shall come out and say, I ain't part of this letter here for black people from coming in communities. I ain't part of that. So as American exceptionalism retreats inward, the Chinese are projecting. I am excited to see another 20 years, perhaps, how this whole world order is turned upside down. Upside down. Like the first female commissioner of police, Trinidad and Tobago. I know some of the facts with the sniper rifle and so on that some agency was bringing in and she get blamed for some infraction and so on. I think they do this lady wrong though. I find some hints of sexism. Like if there was a male commissioner of police, they wouldn't have tried this. I think they tried to set her up. I think they tried to set her up. And in Trinidad and Tobago, the Director of Public Prosecution recently said a few days ago that there wasn't enough evidence to charge the woman, or enough evidence rather to have a successful conviction and let the whole matter go. 2 days back on the job, they sent her now on 60-something days leave that she had accumulated. Right? And her contract had already been extended, I think, once or twice. And so the prospect of that looked very, very dim. But they send this lady off wrong. They send this lady off wrong. But God don't sleep. You know? God don't sleep. God don't sleep. Right? I saw the former commissioner of police, what's his name? He contested the last election there in Trinidad, and the folks said he's not, he didn't get any seats any place. He's not quite a political leader as yet. It's interesting that they equate in, being successful in picking up a seat or two in political office and being a political leader. See, he's not quite yet a political leader because he formed his own party. Gary Griffith formed his own party. He was going nice with Kamala in a coalition, and then they broke away and so on. And then she said in this iteration, she's not having him back. He could do what you want to do and so on. And then boom, UNC won. He didn't win anything. They said he's not quite a political leader as yet. It's interesting, right, to see where the commissioner of police, the outgoing commissioner of police in Trinidad and Tobago, it'll be interesting to see where she ends up. But we wish her the best nonetheless. Carla here with Christopher. We came top cop in February of 2023, and it didn't give her an easy time. I told you of that firm in which I worked. Boy said, Mr. Duncan, when the pat in your back, hey, it's a soft spot they're feeling for. Plunge the knife. And I live to see the day those words became true. I'll understand it. Right? Some of us go to work. I found it out the hard way. By and by. The way sometimes we understand things. We go to work, we want people to listen to we problems and tell we good morning and hug we. I mean, that might be courtesy and all of that. But we didn't sign up for that. That wasn't in the contract. When you come in, say good morning. And you don't say good morning. You smile, you say good morning, and you move ahead. Can't get in trouble with people. You just can't. You look at your work program, your terms of reference, and try to fulfill that. Bare minimum. Everything else is extra. Everything else is extra. Then you share easy time. Right? But as I said, God don't sleep. God don't sleep. Don't sleep. Treat the lady bad. This would have been historic in Trinidad. If she had remained prime minister, but she had remained commissioner of police. You know, the prime minister is female, Kamala Prasad Bisesar. The president is female, and then the leader of the opposition is female. It's a woman's world. It's a woman's world. So Trinidad is leading here. There's nobody see and like you and say, take this, you know, this is hard work. Or like Christopher elevated in the ranks of the police force. Hard work. Right? Hard work. And you know, Kamala herself had an easy time. Lash out the government after she fought storm. She fought relentlessly, come back now. And then Her Excellency Christine Kangaloo, too. You know, been through, come through the National Assembly and then elevated to this high office. It's a women's world. It's a woman's world. Please and thank you. There's a couple of things we're following this morning. I saw we talked about China there. Foreign ministers are meeting in China. Todd, you know, doing his thing, and of course China says they want to work with us closely. You see this oil we got pumping out, they're bringing all sorts of people. You know what? You know what amazes me? Jack, you don't think it's about them, you know. That is Irfan's personality. His personality is the oil. We need the oil with it. They can just come plug into he at nice time. He can moonwalk and wine and so on. Put on his black jacket, he red jacket and break, he red sequence jacket and break dance and so on, and all is well and good. Right? He's the black gold, it's not we're pumping out there. But regardless of who in there, you'll see people coming. Foreign interest, because they got something that you need. You got something that they need, so they come in. They come in. China said they want to work close with us, a number of fronts. We got to do what we got to do. No doubt about that. A former First Lady of the United Nations, I think it was Eleanor Roosevelt, who said, there is not a civilization from which we cannot learn. And the Chinese have been ahead in so many fronts and in so many fields. We can learn a lot from them. Right? But that a lot gotta come to benefit each and every guy needs. Not just a cabal. An Irfan Jagdio cabal or a Jagdio cabal by himself and an Irfan cabal. Yeah. Right now we see Irfan trying to kind of recenter the or realign the center of power away from Jagdio and to himself. He got a lot of moonwalking and whining to do. A lot of dying of the hair and Ozempic and so on. He got a lot to do. Good luck with that. Good luck with that, Irfan. Good luck with that. I'm taking my time on this book by Israeli author, thinker, influencer, thought leader, Noah Yuval Harari. Harari could easily be in the top tier of philosophical thinkers of the 21st century. Easy. If you got to buy a book, right? Digital or physical, to read in 2025, read Nexus. Right? Just finished Nexus. Reading another book. Read Nexus. I'm going to read it over. Fantastic. Read anything. Read anything that Yuval Harari, Noah Yuval Harari has written. Anything. Pick a book. Right? Pick a book. So I just finished his book Nexus, and I'm reading 21 lessons for the 21st century, which talks a lot about artificial intelligence. Another fantastic book. And even though this is a guy who is thinking in terms of social issues, the way Einstein thought about scientific issues, is that level of scholarship. But I can go back and read Nexus. I am digesting stuff from this book, Nexus, with stuff happening internationally. And I'm going to come back once the grums settle and read it about 2 or 3 other times. It is such a fantastic and compelling book. So I would say broadly, anything Noah Yuval Harari or Yuval Noah Harari, I think Noah is the middle name. Excellent, excellent author. And you can see where this world going, what are the thought patterns, political, social, and otherwise, where we going? Some people got ducked in front of the name for nonsense, Ducked in front of a real doctor has got to show scholarship. Use a doctor, you never do one piece of research yet. You never talk one thing that makes sense. Nobody could say, listen to him, listen to Uncle here. You can learn a new word, a new phrase. You can say, oh, I never talked about this issue like this. It's just bare cuss out whole day. Gear in fifth gear. Now listen to proper people. Since we saw the letter, Guyanese says, the two showers, they're two peace loving. They didn't write this letter. Imagine we're at a stage where we're not building bridges, It's fences we constructed. You can't go here to block your political opponent. You would use the indigenous people like pawns. You write a letter in Freedom House and you send it to say, I better sign the letter. At least y'all don't get these LCDS grants. But among the two showers, I think about 4, if not 3, whose signature appeared in this letter? The two shower from Anai. Give the man the courage of his conviction. He said, I didn't really know what was happening, what the intent was when a letter was signed. I didn't know. But now that I have a full understanding, he's come out to say, I regret that. And I apologize. And Mr. Muhammad, you are welcome in our community anytime. That takes a lot of kahunas. Maybe borrowed some from Bird Nest. I don't know. But he has circled back. And he says, we at Anai, we are the indigenous community there. We're not about that. That's what he said. We are not about that. And how could I not respect? How could I not respect the gentleman for that? Right? This is to show Ivor Daniels. He said it was a grave mistake. And he talked a little bit in this letter about the nature of the people and how we gotta, like we said, build bridges and not fences. But this is the real PPP. It's not about our indigenous brothers and sisters. I was never going to launch an assault on them. If you live long enough in this country, you know the trends. You can see the play. Right? You can see the play. You can see it. Tomorrow is the sitting of the National Assembly. They come with a motion or something, right? And then they send out and you see statements of support coming from this and that and so on. Set peace. Set peace. It's all faith and planning and execution. That letter was a set piece. Right? They got the people trailing and following, and then they say, all right, they're going South Tripoli, North Tripoli. Who do we have there? Then they write a letter and say, let us sign it. Try to shame you, as though it was a genuine rejection from those places. All right. so that you think it translates, or the indigenous people don't want to see Muhammad. And the whole thing is staged, managed from Rock Street. The whole thing, rent a protest, rent a letter writer. Right now in this program, you got trolls and bots from the PPP. Trolls and bakus from the PPP. Right now in the chat. Right. Sent to destabilize. Get you all arguing all the time. Move from here, black he, look this. They get sent. So in a sense, I guess we should be thankful because we created employment. Some people would be at death's door right now. The guy will walk to come and say, oh, we ain't like this, we ain't like that, to abuse you out whole day on a live, abuse you out on the post, abuse you here and so. But you all don't be distracted too much by them. But I'm happy that to show Ivor Daniels come forward and say, we are better than this. The people not better than it. That is them. But for the rest of us, we are better than this. People make it stinking dirty. That's them. There's no shadow of turning with them in the stinking dirty ways. But the rest of us, no. Let's call them better angels. Please and thank you. Please and thank you. Watch them find a reason now to block why Adriana Young's body can be flown out to the US. It was confirmed with lead counsel for the family, Dr. Dexter Todd, that they're going to do an autopsy. They're going to take the body to New York, to the US, and do, they got better equipment and all of that. I hear Anil talk about body deterioration and so on. If people could find a teeth and reconstruct the life of a dinosaur from 50,000 years ago, right? We got a whole body. A young woman that died on the 23rd, 24th of April last month. And he said, nothing useful can come out of a second. Take the body in deterioration and this and that. Nothing useful. Meanwhile, they're wasting the time. That's what he said. Right. So let's see. Over to you, PPP, for your next move of blocking. Block the pathologist from Trinidad. He can't come. Block this, block that. Right? They are turning stones, or they putting more stones? They're putting more stones of obstruction than they are turning stones. And these are the folks that you must rely on for valid and credible information. I must be crazy. These are the folks that you must sit back and think they're going to run a national election with fairness in your best interest. Guyanese everywhere. What we seen in broad daylight, don't let me take a lamp stick. Took a look from nighttime. We're seeing this whole investigation scuttled in real time. Look how long it took for the crime chief to speak out. Every death, the poet Don John says, diminishes me. Every death is important. But we will not see a death of this magnitude in this country in a long time. In a long time, with such earth-shattering implications. Right? How many people die and systems change? They said they switch up how they look for people now and when people go missing and so on. Imagine that. Imagine that. The police commissioners conference when they yield that. But this girl's death has shook this nation to the core. Adriana Young has become the nation's conscience. In her short life, 11 years young, and she has become the conscience of the nation for good governance, for transparency, for anti-corruption. All of that, all of those themes can be explored in the examination of this investigation. Top to bottom. The people say they want Scotland Yard. They want the Royal Mounted Branch Police of Canada. They bring a retiree. And if I say, I have done everything I've committed to. I wish some of these journalists would challenge this man a little more. Challenge him. Right? Challenge him. I don't know why Gordon is not in the cut and trust of the thing anymore. That's why they blocked Gordon from going to press conferences. Y'all remember that? Block Gordon from going to press conferences. And then a day I hear Gordon, Jagdio and Gordon. But I see this thing, my skin crawl. The man want Gordon's reach. The man want Gordon's influence. See, Gordon's morning program used to be on Hits and Jams. When I saw the Gordon talking to the man that expelled him from his press conference, I said, look, humanity here. I see Jagdio shrink, but half a feet tall, and Gordon grew but 7 feet tall. And you all know Gordon's an imposing figure when he coming through like a bulldozer. Right? You know? Gordon grew but 7 feet taller. It's like talking to you. The perpetrator, you're the victim, and look, you know, begging for some influence, right? Begging. Land and Garden program. Garden got his stomach for them. got his stomach for them. And now all the impediments, all the encumbrances. What's he call the medical council and said, you don't approve nothing. We don't need a second opinion. And then they come in public and said, no stone unturned. No stone unturned. And then the American ambassador tell us, they didn't ask me nothing yet about the FBI. You know, they didn't ask us nothing yet. It's a government thing, so no stone unturned. Hypocrites. Hypocrites. Woe unto them that lead the little ones astray, that lead the young ones astray. Woe unto them. Trust y'all happy. Trust y'all happy. Nothing they're trying to keep hush hush, and perhaps will decrease here. Dengue outbreak in Region 6. Hundreds of cases. Take me, I have the ball. I don't know what happened with them and Frank. But Frank was a more hands-on Minister of Health. Now Frank is like retreating. He has almost disappeared. Seeing special occasions. I don't know what is happening there. I don't know what is happening. But Frank was far more hands-on. But like somebody telling like he tried to overshadow Irfan or Jack Near. Something was said. Something was said, and Frank has gotten camera shy now. He don't have a right. But this dengue thing, hush, hush. Hush, hush. But people are talking. Kids are more susceptible to transmission. And quite a few kids have died. Dengue. I could see them by saying, bury them. You remember Jagdio? During COVID, people die every day. What's 1,200 to COVID? You know? When 120,000 die in other places. What's 1,200? The poet says, every man's death diminishes me. They've gotten so numb. You know? So heartless. So cold. To the human condition. They think they're invincible, you know. They think it's only Amna Ali can die. They think they're invincible. But we're going to right here. God willing. Should the Lord tarry, we're going to right here. So let us do all we can, people. Then again, don't go and ask, use PPP, use up. No, who's you? You're little, you're big, you're what? So much more can be done on the dengue front. You know, so much more. But of course, the PPP reversing this government, they're driving it forward. One thing over and over and over and over. And then I want to keep things hush hush. Right? Why we don't have a dashboard for dengue the way we had maybe for COVID? Let's see how the numbers are going. Right? Never like them things, them kind of accountability. You know, they don't like that kind of accountability. Stacey Ann, Mandy, that kind of transparency. Why not a dashboard? Let the nation see how the thing going. Right? But you can fiddle with the numbers, so you can't put up that kind of information. People go, what? Oh, what's going on? One day it's 300, next day you got no cases. What is it? And the questions will be asked. And people not too prepared for them kind of hard questions. Right? So you stay behind the scenes and you stay quiet until it is absolutely necessary. That's how they operate it. And our kids, our lives are at risk. Our kids, you know, it's an abnormal thing to have to bury your children. You know, it's an abnormal thing. Children bury parents, and such as the circle of life. Abnormal thing. You got to go and bury. I feel it for that family in Burpees. 2 kids, one after the next, same week. Same week. You know, but this government think money's everything. Take a 5 million, man. You know, take on already. What are we gonna do? Life goes on, and you know. So let's get a hold on this, please and thank you. Let's get a hold on it. Evelyn, how are you doing? Tommy, Natasha Bristol, how are you doing? Wendy, Renetta, Everil, good morning. Neon, and all the other folks joining us this morning. Beatrice, good to have you. Tommy, good to have you. And everybody else who's joining us. Wenda, good to see you guys. We're going to see you guys on the other side of the day. Have a fantastic rest of the day. Stay safe, guys. Stay safe. Make sure you take your medication, drink your water. You know, have your lunch on time and so on. That's big people. We got to stick together, folks. Please and thank you. Deborah, thanks for joining us this morning. Auntie Sandra, thanks for joining us. Audrey Bushmaster, thanks for joining me. Please and thank you. Have a great day, folks. Have a great day. We're going to see you guys on the next side. Stay safe.